Hey everyone, Token Dave here, the dorky token black guy that's just trying to get by. And welcome to another edition of AA, Adaptation Application. Here, I give my thoughts on how well an original or already established story has been adapted into a new or an updated medium. And this AA is in conjunction with the Street Fighter Flashback. In celebration of 30 years of Street Fighter, I'm taking it upon myself to share my memories of playing the game in the arcades or on console at that period of time and review other Street Fighter related media. Well, I just did my review of the Street Fighter Zero anime, so I think it's safe to do an AA of the anime. Now, other than Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Zero is actually the other highly popular series among the general public. So, and Street Fighter Zero is unique in the sense that this is where we get the story of the whole franchise established. So, unlike the Street Fighter 2 anime, which didn't have a centralized plot, Street Fighter Zero has a centralized plot and has a lot of character motivations. So, they did a great job without having a centralized plot, and they did a great job of establishing the theme and as well as character motivations in the Street Fighter 2 anime. Let's see how, since they already did a great job, we know that they could hit this out of the park because there are a lot of things already established. There's a blueprint, and it should be much easier to follow. So, with this AA, I'm going to talk about how well the plot was adapted, how well the theme is adapted, and how well the setting is adapted. And if I have time, I'll go into the character motivations and adaptations. Okay? So, like I said, Street Fighter Zero, the video game series, established the plot of the franchise. And the plot of the franchise is basically two-folded. We have the Assassin side. The Assassin side is basically the martial arts that Ryu and Ken were taught by their master Goken, who explained that Assassin is actually a Japanese art that was used for assassinations, but a lot of the masters over the years have refined it to a more traditional martial art. However, all practitioners are actually able to tap into something called the Sate no Hadu, or the Dark Hadu, the murderous intent, which if you could tap into it and if you really practice it spiritually, you actually end up going on a murderous rampage. You know, only one person has actually mastered the Sate no Hadu, Goki. And Goki, with mastering the Sate no Hadu and the forbidden technique, the Son Goku Satsu, he has actually killed off all the other masters and is gunning for a fight with Ryu, who tapped into the Sate no Hadu when he defeated Sagat, and how now the Sate no Hadu is trying to consume Ryu. So, that's the Assassin plot of Street Fighter. Then there's the Shadowloo plot of Street Fighter, where basically in Zero, we learn that Vega, the ruler of Shadowloo, is actually, his operations are expanding more so throughout the world, that they're actually corrupting major organizations, such as the United States military, which Lieutenant Nash is suspicious of. So Nash decides, with a strong sense of justice, decides to go out alone and investigate Shadowloo and Vega and bring him in. And while during his investigation, he runs into new agent Chun-Li of Interpol, whom is looking for her father, who disappeared after basically going undercover to investigate Shadowloo. Charlie encounters Vega, and Vega loses, but Vega has an ace up his sleeve and has Charlie murdered, and as well, thus establishing that he actually not only had Charlie murdered, but he himself murdered Chun-Li's father. So, Chun-Li now is gunning for Shadowloo, while Nash's partner and best friend, Guile, is on a vengeance spree against Shadowloo. In addition, to the Shadowloo plot, we have a small plot revolving Vega's use of psycho power. And the antithesis of psycho power is wielded by one person, Rose, who uses soul power. And when psycho power and soul power are the equal balances, Vega is off to tip the scale of that balance to make psycho power predominant, and thus trying to make soul power extinct. So, yes, mouthful, I know, but this is what happens when you've gone years without establishing a theme that you kind of make things a little more convoluted, something that Capcom is notorious for. So, how well do they adapt this plot into this anime? Well, we get a lot about the Satsu no Hadu. However, the Satsu no Hadu is not discovered. It's talked about, and the characters, both Ryu and Ken, know about the Satsu no Hadu already. Okay, that's kind of meh, but here's the thing. You're supposed to assume that we, the public, don't know about the Satsu no Hadu. So, with Ryu and Ken already knowing about the Satsu no Hadu, we don't see how they learn about it, which really stinks. We don't even get a flashback of it, you know? Well, we kind of do, but it's basically 2 seconds. No, 10 seconds. And it's like, they're all well aware about the Satsu no Hadu, and, you know, they talk about the dangers of it, which is another problem of this anime. They talk about the dangers of the Satsu no Hadu, but you don't really see it. You just basically see how powerful it is, which it's a pretty awesome power, and very few can wield it. So, why is it so bad to be consumed when you have this power? And now, to be fair, this is not fully the anime's fault. This is also the video game's fault, because in the video game, we see the Satsu no Hadu with Goki using the Son Goku Satsu, the Raging Demon, and it's a powerful move, and it's awesome to see. It's awesome to execute. You know, Ryu having an evil counterpart called Evil Ryu, whom is consumed by the Satsu no Hadu, you see that he's more powerful too. So, what's the downside? You don't really see it. So, they focus more on the Satsu no Hadu plot, but they don't focus on the Shadowloo plot, which, sorry, you need to have that balance there. So, they kind of miss with adapting the plot. What is the setting? Well, here's the interesting thing. Of all the Street Fighter series, Street Fighter Zero doesn't have an established setting. This is basically all the fighters doing their own thing throughout the world and everything. There is no tournament taking place. But here, they have a tournament. And I'm like, wait a minute. The one series that doesn't have a tournament, you actually make an adaptation that has a tournament? And not just one tournament. There are 2 tournaments in this. What the hell? Seriously. It's like, you know, it's like, were they really trying to pay attention to what they already established in this adaptation? So yeah, they don't get a point for that. So, what is the theme of the Zero series? Well, the Zero series has a distinct theme. The theme is discovery. You know, Ryu and Ken discovering the Satsu no Hadu. Nash discovering how deep Shadowloo's corruption goes. Chun-Li discovering that Vega killed her father. Rose discovering how Vega's ambition about the psycho power is basically bigger than what she expected. The only discovery we get is from the character that is the one person that's correctly adapted, Sakura. Sakura discovering Ryu getting enthralled by the martial arts and realizing that basically, you know, she can't just be enthralled and just like mimic some things. She has to actually seriously practice and has to try to learn what Ryu and Ken are trying to learn about the depth of being a martial artist. That was greatly adapted into this, but all the other discovery is horribly adapted. You don't really get a sense of this. Which, by the way, since Sakura is the best adapted character, that doesn't mean all the characters are badly adapted, right? Wrong! I mean, this anime really focuses on Ryu. And I mean OD. Like about about a good 98% focuses on Ryu. Ryu is practically in almost every scene, you know? And they make him so overpowered, it's ridiculous. And to top it off, they actually make him and Goku a little bit more like Dragon Ball Z fighters and everything, with the dodging of the bullets and, like, you know, the overemphasis of his importance about not being consumed by the Setting no Hadu and all. And, like, so, okay, fine. You have to have the main character have the most focus, but not have him take over the freaking anime, you know? I mean, they have a lot of characters in here, and they're just there for, like, 2 seconds, or they're just there, and they're easily forgotten about. So, they handle this poorly with the character character motivations and all. So, bad job adapting the plot, bad job adapting the setting, bad job adapting the theme, and a horrible job of character adaptations and motivations. This adaptation is trash. How do you go from an awesome adaptation like Street Fighter 2, the anime, to this POS? Agree? Disagree? Drop me a comment below. Give me a like. Follow me on Facebook as Token Dave and on Twitter as Token Dave 80. Subscribe and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by. I'll catch you guys later.